I'm Jan Kingard, CEO of King Size Bows Incorporated, and welcome to my bow kingdom. We're in the joy business. We make special occasions special. I have to say that our most popular bow is our signature Monarch bow, the red and silver one. The Lexus commercials that we've had the privilege of doing for the last 8 years has really drawn attention to the multi-loop bows. We're the only ones in the United States who actually make those bows. We make them out of a variety of fabrics and textures, and those are the ones that people are most interested in. There's a whole bow language that most people don't speak, but there are definitely differences of opinions about how many loops, how long the tails should be, and whether there's a V cut or an angled cut. We are pleased to be in every showroom from Ferrari to the Mini to the Ford to BMW. Now we've found that customers really expect to keep the bow when they buy the car. They want to drive away with the bow. You'd be surprised where people put bows. It's not just on top of a car. Any place that you want to say, look at me, look at me. It can be on a bicycle or a surfboard or skis, on a gate, on the top of your house at a pinnacle. Once you put a bow on it, it's a present.
We're driving out to Long Island today because we found out there's a man out there who legally changed his name to Santa Claus. So yeah, we're gonna go interview Santa. It turns out this Santa's not so traditional.
I drive a black Dodge pickup truck.
With vanity plates.
Oh yes, I have vanity plates. It says Santa Sleigh.
Before he was Santa, he was Frank.
I was born in Brooklyn, but we lived here on Long Island. I've been married 23 years now.
So how do you tell your wife that you're changing your name to Santa Claus?
She said, as long as I don't have to change my name, go right ahead.
Santa has been Santa for almost 2 decades, and he's good at it.
I'm probably on, and this is not an exaggeration, thousands of refrigerators.
He's got the laugh.
You know, that's my Santa laugh.
The suit.
I designed my suit.
But here are some other things about Santa that might surprise you.
I have 3 tattoos on me of me. I'm very into zombies. I love barbecue. I have a smoker. It can fit 150 pounds of meat in.
He's got this tiki hut, an above-ground saltwater pool in his backyard.
Yes, I'm that extreme when it comes to my idea of relaxation.
So there's a little Frank left in there. But no question, he's fully committed to being Santa.
I want to look like the poem says. I'm the most loved person on the planet.
We totally met Santa.
We have 6 weeks to harvest 1 million Christmas trees. And that means you gotta move fast. As soon as harvest starts, it's time to call in the cavalry. The state of Oregon is the largest supplier of Christmas trees in the country. Here in Oregon, Christmas trees outnumber people 12 to 1. Holiday Tree Farms is one of the largest Christmas tree farms in the world. We have about 8,000 acres of actively growing trees. The only thing we grow is Christmas trees. We sell 1 million Christmas trees a year, but you gotta remember, we harvest them in a very short period of time. We can cut and process a Christmas tree and have it loaded on a truck in less than 24 hours. The steps in harvesting a Christmas tree start with cutting each tree individually with a chainsaw. Slingers will pile the trees and rig them for extraction. Next, we bring a helicopter and fly them into waiting trucks. Each tree is shaken, baled, and loaded, and then it's on its way to market. Holiday started using helicopters in the early 1980s. They're a lot faster than doing it by hand. A helicopter can harvest about 1,000 trees an hour. We normally run between 5 or 6 helicopters every day, sun up to sundown. We've been taking care of these trees ever since they were very tiny seedlings. An average noble fir is about 8 years old when we harvest it, and it's 6 to 7 feet tall. Harvest is my favorite time of the year. That's when we get to see the payoff for 6, 7, 8 years worth of work. For every tree that we harvest, we plant another tree in its place. So when we harvest 1 million trees, we plant over 1 million trees the next spring. It never stops. So what do I think of fake trees as a Christmas tree farmer? They're our #1 competition, obviously. We real tree farmers have a saying about fake trees. 9 years in the house and 9 million years in the landfill. They cannot be recycled. It's Christmas, keep it real.
Everybody knows jolly old Saint Nick. He's the bearer of good tidings and cheer. Well, in Austria, he's not alone. And we don't mean Rudolph. These are Krampus, a sort of monster that travels with Saint Nick. They scare away bad spirits and look for naughty kids to punish, making Christmas a whole lot scarier. People in Europe have been welcoming the Christmas season by dressing as Krampus for hundreds of years.
I am Ralph Herzog, and I am the oldest Krampus here in town, Altenmarkt. On the 5th of December, we came to the childs in their homes, and the good one gets some sweets from the Nicolo, and the bad ones get hit with the whip from the Krampus. Then we go from house to house for 5-6 hours, and after we visited all the children in Altenmarkt, there's a little run with all Krampus together.
The story of Saint Nick and Krampus goes back to 375 AD, and the costumes and traditions haven't changed much since.
The dress from the Krampus is made of wool from the sheep. The masks are made of wood, and so when you're walking around to all the children, to their houses for some hours, you really will get sweat. It's like a workout. It's funny to go into the houses from the people. The reaction is different. Some childs are not scared, come to you and grab to your fur, and other ones screaming and running away. The Krampus is a good reason to change the mind from the children, try to be good for the next year. I'm dressed as a Krampus this year the 15th time. I'm very lucky to go every year. I'm very proud to be a part of this old tradition.
When you find a tree that has an apple in it and just discovering new varieties, it's just, I live for that. I'm Annie Brennan. My wife and I, we go around our town and we forage for wild apples, and we make it into a series of ciders based on where the apples are located.
You sell at the Gramercy Tavern.
Yeah, Gramercy Tavern, which I've only eaten at once. I know it's famous, and especially their wine menu is somewhat famous.
Having cider made from wild foraged fruit is really unusual, something that can only be done in very small amounts. What comes out of the bottle is really special.
We go out into the woods. We go to places where apples are not at all influenced by human cultivation. We're searching the woods, and sometimes it's difficult to find the trees. And if the light doesn't hit the silver in the trunk just right, you may not even know it's an apple tree. You're in luck when you find not just one or two, but a whole forest of trees, which sometimes does exist. What I love is discovering varieties that are just so peculiar. You would never find them in a grocery store. The other day we found an apple that has red flesh, so you bite into it and it looks like a pomegranate. They're telling us, press us. It takes about 4 hours to grind and press enough juice to fill a barrel. Think of those barrels as bears. It's hibernating. 9 months after you collected the apples, that's when it's ready.